US President-elect Donald Trump has accused Panama of charging excessive tolls for the Panama Canal. The Republican said that if the country does not acceptably manage the canal, he will demand that it be handed over. This is reported by Hindustan Times. The tolls Panama is charging are ridiculous, especially considering the extraordinary generosity the US has shown Panama, Trump wrote on his social network Truth Social. He also warned that he will not allow the canal to fall into the wrong hands. The publication points out that Trump warned about possible Chinese influence on the passage, writing that the canal should not be managed by China. It was not given for the benefit of others, but merely as a token of cooperation with us and Panama. The fees being charged by Panama are ridiculous, especially knowing the extraordinary generosity that has been bestowed to Panama by the US. He concluded. Hindustan Times recalled that the US largely built and managed the area around the passage for decades, but in 1999, the US government handed over control of the canal to Panama after a period of joint management. Panama's president shot down President-elect Donald Trump's threat on Sunday that the US would call on the Central American country to cede control of the Panama Canal if it continued to charge exorbitant fees to use the critical shipping channel, New York Post informs. Panama President Jose Raul Mulino came out swinging against Trump's suggestion that the US could demand it regain control of the century-old waterway when he assumes office next month. I want to express precisely that every square meter of the Panama Canal and its adjacent area belong to Panama and will continue to, Mulino said in a statement posted on social media. The sovereignty and independence of our country are not negotiable. Every Panamanian, here or anywhere in the world, carries it in their heart, and it is part of our history of struggle and irreversible conquest. During his visit to Phoenix, Trump said that if Panama does not comply with all moral and legal principles, the canal will be returned to US control. The US built the canal in the early 1900s to help commercial and military ships travel between its coasts, but gave up ownership of the waterway in 1999, more than 20 years after President Jimmy Carter signed a treaty with Panama. If the principles, both moral and legal, of this magnanimous gesture of giving are not followed, then we will demand that the Panama Canal be returned to the United States of America in full, quickly and without question, Trump said. I'm not going to stand for it. The Republican continued. So, to the officials of Panama, please be guided accordingly. Details have emerged of how on the morning of December the 15th, Russia sent hundreds of North Korean soldiers to storm the left flank of the Ukrainian armed forces' defense in the Kherson region. The North Koreans were dropped into no man's land on a clear December morning, with neither the cover of darkness nor, apparently, the concern of their generals. Dressed in green uniforms of the Russian army, the Koreans made no attempt to seek cover and were quickly spotted crossing a snowy field by a Ukrainian drone. The Times writes, as a veteran of the battle for Bakhmut, 35-year-old Special Forces officer Vitaly noted apparently the Koreans had the same simple order, to attack or die, as the Wagnerites. Seeing such a large group moving together was like a dream for our mortar and machine gunners. I don't know if they all died, but let's say the attack was stopped pretty quickly, the fighter noted. According to the Pentagon, hundreds of young Koreans died. Ghastly photos of wax corpses lying in the snow were quickly posted online. One video showed a Russian soldier trying to burn the face of a dead North Korean to hide his ethnicity. The publication said, it is recalled that there are about 11,000 North Korean soldiers in the Kursk region ready to engage in battle. The Ukrainians have nicknamed their new enemies Gooks, a racist nickname used by American troops during the Vietnam War. The term was borrowed from Francis Ford Coppola's 1979 film Apocalypse Now about the monstrous horror of war, the Times added. It is also stated that Putin may receive a maximum of 100,000 troops from the DPRK. However, there is no sign of mobilization of these additional troops, and it will take 3 months to send them to the front lines. According to Lieutenant General Sergei Nayev, the Ukrainian armed forces can hold territory in the Kursk region for at least a month and maybe longer, depending on resources. The entry of North Korean troops into combat operations against Ukraine in the Kursk region of Russia was difficult for Pyongyang's forces. However, the DPRK troops were able to adapt, writes Business Insider. Ukrainian forces have dealt devastating blows to North Korean units, according to intelligence and footage obtained by Radio Free Europe / Radio Liberty. Video footage shows groups of soldiers becoming easy targets for Ukrainian drones. North Korean troops are operating in large groups in the open, unaware of the threat from modern technology such as drones, Ukrainian intelligence officials say. This is causing significant casualties. Senior US officials have said the North Korean death toll is in the hundreds. The North Koreans are clearly suffering unnecessary casualties because they were rushed into battle without adequate preparation for the unique threats, said Wallace Gregson, a former Assistant Secretary of Defense for Asia-Pacific Security Affairs.